Move it to the right a little bit. Like put me in the frame a little more. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so we had 6 games,
This weekend.
6 wild card playoff games. Some surprising, some not.
Yeah, only one is really surprising. Must be so out too. But all right, we'll just jump right to it, I guess. Right?
Okay, the first game we had was the
Chargers
Texans game where the Texans absolutely blew Chargers out of the water.
Yeah, first game my bracket was already down 50 points, but I mean Justin Herbert looks terrible.
Like, he wasn't playing good.
4 interceptions, most of his career.
But most of the season.
Most of his entire career.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of his entire career. Yeah, I mean it was completely terrible all around. Gus Edwards had 22 yards. Really the only player that performed well was Ladd McConkey, which at this point, what are we surprised about? Like, Ladd McConkey's great. Ladd McConkey is going to be a very good player. And, I mean, I see a lot of potential in him. But, yeah, no, this didn't look great. C.J. Stroud didn't do too much, but he did enough.
C.J. Stroud had a great game.
The
defense was absolutely crazy.
Yes.
I remember watching that game. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud had 280, a touchdown, and an interception. But he threw a lot of great passes. Without Tank Dell, a lot of people winning this game, not knowing how they're going to be. And he used Nico Collins just like he needed to.
Yeah.
Just like, a fill-in. Yeah, I mean, it was a really good game all around. And then, that defense just absolutely went off. I think, 2 defensive touchdowns or something. But yeah, really, really great game from all the Texans. That a really bad game all around for the Chargers.
All good around the Chargers?
Good for the Texans, bad all around for the Chargers. You're deaf today.
That's not what I heard.
You're just deaf today. I mean, I say the Bucks Rams, and you're like, oh, the Vikings Rams. What? Okay. So
it was the Vikings Rams.
Yeah. Or Bucks Commanders. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the second game, that last Saturday was Ravens Steelers. Not too much of a surprise there. Got my bracket back on track. I mean, the Ravens look dominant, just like they always do.
Ravens.
I didn't. Nothing special, right?
21 in the first quarter. I mean, the first half. So.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, 2 touchdowns, only 170 yards.
Steelers tried to catch up, but
Lamar had 81 rushing yards. Like, that's not. Doesn't mean anything. I mean, he's just so dominant. Lamar didn't throw too much. He completely correctly utilized his run game.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns.
If he was running back, he'd be top running back.
He looked. Derrick Henry just looked like Derrick Henry. Really great. And the Steelers were crumbling the entire end of the season. No surprise here. I mean, it looks like it's a closer game than it really was. It's 21-0.5. The Ravens laid back a little bit. I'm surprised they didn't take Lamar Jackson out just for the last quarter.
You never know. You never know.
No, I'm not. Yeah. But
they
did take Derrick Henry out.
They could have made sure that Lamar Jackson doesn't get
hurt. Right, that's what I'm saying.
But if there's always a chance that the Steelers could catch up and they may need him.
Yeah. And they could put it back in. They took Derrick Henry out for the last 5 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Put in Hill and Sims for one play. Just once again, not trying to hurt their guys. The Steelers do some late touchdowns. Both of them were over 50-yard passing touchdowns though.
Okay.
So it wasn't much. George Pickens only had 5 catches.
And then for our Sunday game, there was the Bills-Broncos. We had the Bills to win, and they absolutely destroyed the Broncos. Big surprise. Yeah. Bo Nix could not get sacked or almost sacked.
Yeah.
I mean, the pass rushing was amazing.
That team has no playoff experience.
Yeah, there's
Right? It is nothing behind it. He has no one to protect him at all. And it showed. The Bills have lost playoff experience. They've been in the playoffs 5 straight years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I think that Josh Allen showed why he is.
I think Josh Allen showed why he should be the MVP. Yeah. I think both Lamar and Josh both have great alibis for winning the MVP. I think it's the fact that Josh has less on his team to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking at them against the Broncos,
I
was thinking Lamar should have won it.
They have a new wide receiver.
Do they do?
Yeah, I believe so.
Not as of the last 5 weeks, because trade deadline ended the last 5 weeks.
I don't know if it's new from then. Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper has been on the team for a year. The entire season. I don't know.
I didn't realize that
Amari Cooper's been there. No, yeah, I mean, I kind of went into the weekend wanting Lamar to win the MVP, just expecting him, thinking he should have won it. After last week, they tied. It's kind of turned. Josh Allen just showed why he should win the MVP with so much less talent. Like, I think the Bills would have beaten the Steelers a lot worse had they played them than the Ravens did.
Oh, yeah.
But the Ravens crushed them. But I think the Bills would have beaten them 42-0. I think that defense looked great against the Broncos. I mean, just gave it one touchdown in the first drive. And, yeah, I mean, it wasn't much to watch.
So now we have the
Eagles-Packers
game. Packers played like the Packers.
Yeah, no Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
That's really all we needed going into this week.
No, I believe Jordan Love played.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure. I was watching that game.
Well, Jordan Love also has no playoff experience, and coming off of an injury.
Yeah.
It's not much of a surprise that he was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not too surprised there.
Jake Elliott had a great game, though. Three field goals.
Yeah. But that's for the Eagles, right? Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it was the Eagles
was 22-10.
The Eagles looked correct. Saquon looked good.
No scores in the second quarter.
It really wasn't like. Once again, one of the games going into just not surprising. At this point, my bracket was looking great. I only had 2 more games, and I got everything right since the first game. 2 more, and
okay. So now we have the Commanders Tampa game, and this was the
best game of the weekend. I think it's the best game of the weekend.
We actually made a video. You should watch it.
Yeah, I think these teams are equal. I think everything just kind of.
The Buccaneers played really well, and they have played really well this entire season. The Commanders have been absolutely going crazy with the new quarterback.
He's one of the best rookie quarterbacks, seasons as a rookie quarterback of all time.
I think. I know we were talking about earlier that Jaden Daniels is probably the rookie of the year. I'm still thinking Brock Bowers.
No, Brock Bowers isn't winning for one reason. His team was 3-14, and they're going to look at the record. I don't care what you tell me.
If you look at the actual Rookie of the Year award, you see that what it is, and it's if you look at his stats, he's on pace to beat the tight end scoring record.
On pace, the season's over.
He was. I mean,
but he didn't.
He is was 3rd in the league for tight ends this year.
Because the tight ends in the league right now are terrible. Name one other good tight end in the league.
Travis
Kelce is
not
2 touchdowns,
but he is one of the best.
But this year, he wasn't.
And plus, I think that a player's individual strength should not be weighed on the team. You could have a JV team of high school, but also have a player with Lamar Jackson power.
Right, but
if you have a 3 and whatever the record was for them, you don't think it like they're gonna
right, but you need to
get it.
see a difference. Last year, the Raiders were 4-12. This year they went down 3-13.
What's their other players on the team? Did they trade anyone away?
What they're gonna look at is what did these rookies actually? How did the rookies actually impact? The Commanders won 4 games last year. They make it to playoffs and they make it past wild card rounds first try on the divisionals, and I could see the Commanders beating the Eagles again. I really legitimately could see the Commanders being in the NFC Championship.
I think that the Raiders. Do we say
the what?
Commanders?
Commanders.
Yes. The Commanders.
They beat the Eagles already. I think they can do it again. I think Jaden Daniels is on a hot streak.
What was the Commanders' record?
What, in that last year?
This year.
10-7.
So if they
11. Yeah, 10-7. Yeah, 10-7.
So what I'm thinking is
I'm sorry. 13-5.
13-5.
Or 12-5. Right,
I think that the Eagles could beat the Commanders.
I think the Commanders could beat the Eagles. I could see it going either way.
I think that Jaden Daniels had a great first playoff game, but I don't think he can make it to the second round.
But he's already beaten them. He's already seen the Eagles twice.
He's beaten him
1 or 2 times. It's a best of 3, and the Eagles, right? If the Commanders can stop the run game, they take down the Eagles, and the Commanders have a great run defense.
Just Saquon is deadly though,
right?
As you can see in this game,
they're gonna go into this game. I think they're gonna go into this game prepared for Saquon. I think it's gonna be just the same as against the Bucs. It's gonna be a very, very close game. I think the Commanders are gonna win by 3 or a touchdown. It's going to be a 1-score game, but the Commanders are going to pull out with it. Just because you can go 2 ways when you're your team's first. You can either go as the underdog and crush it, or go in like the Chargers and the Broncos and just not be ready for what's coming. And this is right back to the Rookie of the Year stuff. Jaden Daniels doesn't have anyone special on his team. He is what is special.
Terry
McLaurin is
very good,
but he's a top 10 wide receiver, top 15 wide receiver. I mean, imagine if he had Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase. He doesn't have any super.
Tyreek Hill hasn't had a great season this year.
Yeah, because he was just.
And then we have the Vikings-Rams game where the Rams had a shocking victory, like 27.
And there goes my entire bracket. I had the Rams making the NFC Championship, so there goes 150 points down the drain.
I didn't have.
You didn't have the Vikings winning this game.
I had the Vikings winning this game.
You don't think the Vikings would have beat the Eagles? You're overestimating them. They're not good against good teams. You look at the Eagles' record, the Eagles' schedule. Yeah. They're playing good teams. I mean, they played the Buccaneers twice. The Bucs beat them once. Right? Okay. Hold on. Let's look real quick. All right. So we go in. They beat the Packers by 5. That's a good game, right? Packers at that point were in iffy. Lose to the Falcons by 1. Beat the Saints by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Crushed by the Buccaneers. Beat the Browns by 4.
Crush the Giants.
They trust the Giants, but they're supposed to crush the Giants. They crushed the Bengals. The Bengals started their season 0-4. I mean, they had no idea what they were doing. Or that defense is terrible. They only beat the Jaguars by 5 points.
They crushed the Cowboys.
They only beat the Commanders by 1 touchdown. They beat the Rams by 2 touchdowns. They beat the Ravens, once again, 1-score game. Panthers, 1-score game. Steelers, at that point...
2-score games.
No, yes. 8 points. That's a 6-point game.
You said Steelers, buddy.
I said, at this point, the Steelers were already slowing down. This was their second game of the end of the season. Mm-hmm. This was their last. we already saw them play terrible the game before, so I don't think it's surprising that they were going to get crushed. Then they go out and the Commanders do beat them, and then they come out for revenge against the next week, beat the Cowboys by a lot, and then they end the season barely beating the Giants, right? 20-13. That's not another big, great win, and then they beat the Packers again. I'm not impressed. Besides Saquon, who is a phenomenon, great player, I don't think that. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a top 5 QB.
Jalen Hurts is.
I think he's maybe a 9.
Who's your top 5 QBs this year?
I would say this year I have Goff, Lamar, Patrick, Allen, and Burrow. I would say those are my top 5 QBs.
I wouldn't have Patrick in the top 5 this
Like
year.
This year, but there's 15-2. I mean, I was like, but they are 15. Like they're still winning games. All right, so then still not Patrick. You can put in. You can say Baker Mayfield. You could say Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts this year.
No.
Jalen Daniels looking better than Jalen Hurts this year. I think Baker Mayfield looked better than Jalen Hurts this year. I mean, I think that Sam Donald looked better than Jalen Hurts.
Honestly,
until the last game of the season, I think Sam Donald looked like a top 10 QB.
With Baker Mayfield, I almost feel like I don't even remember him before he was on the Buccaneers.
No, he played for the
Browns.
Yeah.
He played for the Browns?
No, the Bears. Wasn't the Bears play after the Bears?
He plays for the Browns.
Maybe not.
Pretty sure it was.
I think not bad. Okay.
And then we have the semifinals.
Talking about next week?
In the semifinals next week.
Oh, divisional round, baby. Oh, this is going to be such a fun week to watch. I'm excited for every single one of these games.
Okay.
I think all these games are going to be one-score games.
Who do you have for the Chiefs-Texans game?
I have the Chiefs. I don't know yet.
I have the Chiefs.
Because I don't know if I have the Chiefs. I think I take the Texans here. The Texans come off a great win against the Chargers, right? It's all about being hot and being cold going into the playoffs. They just lost. I mean, I know the Chiefs just sat all their best players 2 weeks ago. All their best players have 2 weeks of rest with no football.
Not necessarily.
Against a pro team. They have 2 weeks of rest against football. Right, we've seen this. We saw this throughout all of college football. All bye teams got knocked out.
Mm-hmm. What's the? Is it national championship?
Yeah.
Who's playing?
The Buckeyes play Notre Dame. The literal worst Super Bowl matchup I could have won.
National championship.
Hate both those teams so much. Both those teams. I mean, especially Notre Dame, dude.
Florida
They just
State
think
Glazer.
Huh?
Nothing.
Florida State Glazer. I'm not a Florida State fan.
Sure.
I'm a Florida Gators fan. Florida State, the Seminoles are my enemies.
My fault. Okay, and then we have the Bills-Ravens game. I'm taking the Bills.
I'm taking the Ravens.
I
don't know why you think.
Bills are going to win.
Look, the Bills are great.
I don't see Ravens in the national championship.
They're not making the national championship.
The national,
yeah,
whatever it's
Super
called.
Bowl.
No, I'm not talking about the national.
No, but I think they beat
Football
both the
conference.
Chiefs or the Texans. Look, I think whoever wins this Ravens-Bills game makes it to the Super Bowl. I don't think the Chiefs make a Super Bowl game. Respectfully, the Chiefs aren't good enough.
The Eagles,
they don't deserve
the
it.
Eagles Rams. I'm taking the Eagles.
I'm gonna take the Eagles, but not by a lot.
And
I
then
think they're
the
gonna
Lions Commanders.
Well, Lions. I think
the Lions are going to absolutely.
100%. I think they're gonna. Yeah, they're right.
That's going to be a fun game.
I think they're gonna play
There's
with the
gonna be
Commanders.
So much trick plays is going to be.
I mean, the Lions are just like. They're just like They're like the Commanders, but just like a next level in every position, right? QB, next level QB, Jared Goff. Wide receiver, you take care of the player, but you got Amon-Ra. You're running back Brian, but you got Jahmyr Gibbs, right? And that made you Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery in this.
Jahmyr Gibbs is probably a top 5 wide receiver.
I think
running back this year.
I think he's top 10 because he's a running back too. I think Montgomery was looking better than Jameer Gibbs.
Maybe.
I think Montgomery plus.
Is it David
If
Montgomery?
they had, yeah, I think so. I think if they have Montgomery and Gibbs, their run game is going to be unstoppable. Right? Montgomery gets hurt in the last game of the season, sucks. But I still think Jameer Gibbs is going to try to prove himself in this playoffs, and is going to start against the Commanders.
Yeah.
He's going to run for 200 and 2 touchdowns.
Maybe.
And then I think their defense is next level. I think the Lions' defense is just a better version.
Who's
of
on the defense?
Commanders.
Who's on the defense? It's big.
No one no. I mean, not many defenders right now are known except like TJ Watt and stuff.
TJ Watt, yeah.
TJ.
I wish JJ Watt was still in the league.
Yeah. I don't think many defenders, but I just think the Lions are just like a better version of the Commanders, and they're just gonna throw the Commanders up in the air and hit them around a few times, just like they did the Vikings last game of the season. You know, everyone in that game, oh, this is gonna be the game of the year. This is gonna be the game of the year. The Lions just showed why they're the number 1 seed in every way. Right? They who did they lose to? They lost to the Bills by 2.
But it's also the Bills.
I don't think that they lose to the Bills again.
Do they have one loss?
They have 2 losses. They lost to the Buccaneers the second game of the season. 17-13. It was bad. But anyways,
I think if they played them today, they would lose.
I think they'd beat them by a lot. I think they could them. I think the Lions been a Super Bowl.
It's so much fun to see the Lions play because they pass it back and then they throw it with their wide receivers.
I just love that team so much. So, I mean, that team is just so fun. Every player on that team is awesome.
And Jared Goff, a year ago, I didn't think was
a top 15 quarterback.
Top 16 quarterback.
Top 20.
I think he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
I think the Lions were considered one of the they were the 3rd worst team last year.
But now I think he's top 5. Or maybe top 6.
I think you compare Bryce Young to Jared Goff. Bryce Young, midway season, he's taken off the starting roster, and everyone we talk about is something just clicked for Bryce Young. He's been looking way better. I think Jared Goff, once again, just like the Commanders, I think Jared Goff did a better, faster version of this. I think he did it over the offseason, and he got Amon-Ra in the draft. This is Amon-Ra, right? Or no, who did they take this year? Who was their first rounder?
Was it Jameer Gibbs?
Might have been.
I think it was Jameer Gibbs.
Lions.
Yeah, but a really great year.
I think someone clicked for him, and his entire defensive back.
Oh,
yeah, they defensive player. I think the Lions are unstoppable. They've had some bad games, but if they can make it to the Super Bowl, they're not going to lose. Wait, where's the Super Bowl this week? I don't know. Where is it?
know. Maybe Miami.
Miami, I really hope not.
Why?
Because Miami's a really bad place to do.
They had it a couple years ago.
New Orleans.
That's gonna be
fun. Superdome or whatever it's called.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I haven't actually been there, but when I went to New Orleans, I saw
Superdome, Lions Bills game to end last game of the season.
Wow, the New Orleans is gonna be crazy.
I think it's gonna be a top 5 game of all time.
New Orleans,
that could be awesome. Especially, that is
down Bourbon Street. It's gonna be crazy.
Dude, it would be the most wild game in the last 10 years.
And imagine if it was like that, but the Saints made it.
Well, no shit.
Not that
obviously.
Not that that they would ever make it, but that'd be crazy.
We hate the Saints so much. Oh my god.
I don't like the Saints and the Falcons.
Yeah, obviously the Iron Beast will win.
Second sucks.
Yeah, they lost their guys.
I didn't even realize Michael Thomas was still in the league. He was a top. He was their best wide receiver.
Who's their quarterback?
I don't even. It's Derek Carr.
No, he retired. Is it Derek Carr still playing with them?
I think Derek.
He's still playing? Oh my god, he might be the worst quarterback in the entire league. Yeah, it is Derek Carr.
No,
he plays for the Raiders. Yeah, who plays? Oh my god.
Guess who it is?
Did I know him?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
What? Who is it?
Wait, don't look it up.
2025. No, it is. It's Derek Carr. It's Derek Carr. Yeah.
And then there's also Spencer Rattler.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is not leaving the Vikings, bro.
Sam Darnold's amazing.
Sam Darnold's old.
Sam Darnold's my king.
Sam
What is
Darnold.
happening?
Sam Darnold's old, bro.
JJ McCarthy is probably going to play next year. Sam Darnold or JJ. That'd be cool though.
Yeah.
JJ. It's JJ.
Shut up. Nah, buddy. Yeah. No, dude, if we get another Lions Bowl Super Bowl, already just not having to worry about the Chiefs.
What's your okay?
Oh my
let's
God,
just do
I
like
love that, dude.
let's just
I
talk because
love that.
this turn's pretty short. Who is your top 3 Lions players all time?
Lions players.
You should know at least 2.
I should.
Yes, you should.
I don't know them, so
You know one.
I do.
It's Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
And there's Barry Sanders.
He's a defensive player, right?
He's a running back.
I don't
And then
I don't know anything about old football players, bro. I do not pay attention to any of that.
what about top 3 Falcons players all time? Falcons.
Bijan Robinson,
Top
Drake
3.
London, and Michael Bennett. I would say it's probably. I'd say Julio, Ryan, and the other QB. What's his name? They got put in jail for dog footing.
Yeah, Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. I'd say he's top 3. I think they're probably the best
Yeah.
3 players I've ever had. And 2 of those should have been a Super Bowl win. The fact we don't win that, I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Like, dude,
We'll talk about that today.
yeah.
Okay, so you want to end it?
Yeah.
We didn't get it here.
Yeah, it's fun. The more you stream, the more traction you get. Anyway.
Bye, guys.
Skibidi. It doesn't really matter.